Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Ali and this is Creating with Ali, and today we're just going to create some craft. And I'm going to make little love bugs because it's nearly Valentine's Day. So let me take you through how I go making a little love bug. The very first thing I did was take some 1-inch pieces of wire and then using my pliers just curled them around to make little feet, and then I bent them in the middle. So I did use the desk to help me there because the wire was of a thicker gauge. And these are going to form the little legs for the little bug I'm going to make. There was a little bit of coating on this wire, so I did take my wet paper towel, or wet one, and clean that off, and also clean my hands because I do find that the colour of the clay sometimes gets into your fingers, and I was going to use white later. The clay itself is just from Spotlight. It's one of the Spotlight packs here in Australia. It's a bit hard, so it's going to need a little bit of work to get it all malleable. I really only needed half of what was in this block of clay for this particular project. So I broke that part off, kept half for later for something else, and then from this piece I then took the 3 parts that are going to be the parts of the insect, which are the head, thorax and abdomen. I made the thorax a lot larger, or the middle part a lot larger, because it's going to be holding the legs. So once I got these parts apart and I worked out how much I was going to have for each section, I then started to mold them into the shape that I wanted. At this stage it looks a little bit more like an ant. I wasn't sure how this was all going to pan out really, whether it was going to have the same vision that I had in my brain. So I'm just going to speed up here a little bit, otherwise you'll be here forever. So this is the middle part, and I just tucked the legs in, and then I used a tool to make sure that the polymer clay was holding those legs in. And then to that I then constructed a little head, which I shaped into an oval shape, gave it a bit of a nose, and I took some black polymer clay and poked holes in to then insert some eyes, and I also gave it a little bit of a nose. I had to make sure these pieces were quite small. Once I had done that, I made sure to use the tool to connect it and to smooth it over so that the head would stick on. Then poked in a little nose, and I rolled up some smaller pieces of black clay for a little mouth. Now the back of it I made into this shape, and then I decided to create that into a heart shape itself. So I grabbed some more tools and I just sort of molded it round to try and get the best shaped heart abdomen I could. This clay does get a bit soft as you're working with it, so you've got to be careful not to go too much. Alright, so there he is there. Everything seemed to be working pretty well there, so it's time to start on some decoration. And for the decoration on my little love bug, I made little white hearts. Now I didn't have a heart-shaped cutter for this, so I had to use a circle cutter. You can see I got a little heart shape there, one for the tail, but I wanted smaller hearts for the other hearts, so I just cut these with a circle cutter, and then I molded them to make the heart shapes before I put them on. The little bug is a love bug, but he's not the most beautiful bug in the bunch. He's turning out to be a little bit of an ugly bug, but I'm going with it all the same. I thought I could have perhaps put something on his tail, maybe just put in some lettering or just said love or love you or something like that at the back. But we got enough hearts on there, and I smoothed him over a bit just to make sure those legs were set in. And he's just about ready to go into the oven, except I decided that I would cover him in a million trillion tiny little dots. So here I am dotting away, very quite therapeutic in a lot of ways. But he's come together quite nicely. So he's into the oven, and once he came out of the oven, so it was 15 minutes at 130 degrees, and then I used some resin to coat him, so just with the paintbrush, and popped him on the little tray and in so that the resin would harden. So I gave it 3 minutes in here for the resin to harden up. It was a bit sticky and I did wipe him down. He lost an antenna, so I ended up having to put that back on with some super glue. So there you go, guys. I had to do a little bit of a fix up on his antennae, but I just used the super glue for that. It'll be fine. But there is my little love bug. So potentially one of the most fuggliest things I've ever made, but I popped him in one of my pot plants, and I'm sure that when the grandkids come over, he'll be spotted very quickly and there'll be some laughter that ensues. Thanks for sticking around and watching this crafty video today. If you like what you've seen, then don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel for more, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.